Hey y'all. Probably should start the video a little bit faster. Keep retention up. Hey, we're doing something a little different. I feel like I say that all the time, but I actually want to go over some feedback from people who've been helping me review the cards. I think that's probably the best way to frame it. So we'll start with this here. Digi's Monkey King. I don't know how to say your name now I think about it. I got some pretty good feedback from him. You can read it here on the screen. But essentially, he was saying that a lot of the characters, and this is post some of the reworks, just didn't feel like main characters. They didn't feel on the same tier of appeal. He also pointed out some characters that felt completely off-brand, too detailed, which I think was really good feedback. And then here's how he broke down those characters into these three tiers here. Let's make my pencil a little bigger. So this is kind of tier 1. These are characters that do look pretty good. Tier 2, and then tier 3 said these characters were just not very strong at all. And then kind of separate up here are characters that didn't seem to really fit the brand. I think that's okay with these characters. They're animals, so I think that makes sense. But these characters, maybe that is a problem and something to consider. Another person who I've gotten a lot of really good feedback from is good old DPA. I'm sure you'll hear that name a lot as I continue trying to get these daily videos out. He's just been so helpful, giving me a lot of feedback. But DPA, he gave me this advice after I showed this. These are characters I'm pretty satisfied with. Some of these are after the rework I went over in a previous video. Maybe I'll have the patience and time to add a link to that video on screen. But these are the unchecked characters are characters I feel still need a little bit of work, and I want to retouch before releasing the project. And before we get into DPA's his exact feedback, I want to say this. Who am I? What are you listening to? So if you don't know who I am, they call me Pi. Hi. And I'm making a game. I'm making a physical card game. It's called Your Class Rep, the card game. And it features, these characters on these cards here. So what we'll be doing today after reviewing this feedback is we'll just be updating one of the cards. I just wanted to get a quick video out and actually do some art in one of the videos. We had some technical issues with the last video, trying to watch recorded art. So we're just going to do some live and see how it goes. So now let's go on to DPA's feedback. I say a lot when I'm recording. Weird. In his feedback, he actually echoed some of the same ideas. Actually, I didn't show that. He thought the mascots were okay. He had some thoughts on different characters here. What I want to focus on is some of the things he wanted to improve. And there's some overlap between this and Mr. Monkey King, Mrs. Monkey King, Digi Monkey King. He thought the principal should have a full suit on and a tie. He thought the punk kid looked cool, but the guitar was too big. And then another point of feedback was the female he thought could also be in a gi, like a white gi to contrast with the other characters. I think it's a dark gray gi. So I like those points of feedback. While I have you, I guess I'll mention this. The intention with some of these characters are to be homages to other games. So these characters here are I don't know if it's obvious, but Ken from Street Fighter and Sakura from Street Fighter are karate characters. That's a lot to fit on there. Sakura, and then these are supposed to be the swimmer from Pokemon and Misty from Pokemon. Those are inspired by those characters. And if the board, or if I'm gonna add more cards in the future, I'll likely be adding some more homages here and there. I actually have some in mind right now, but we'll see if it grows to that point. But I'm curious though, do you have any characters or ideas for different kids and teachers that you would put in the game if I were to expand it? Just let me know in the comments. All right, so we'll get to our cards. This is the most recent card, the music teacher that we redid. I think I went over that with you guys. And today we're actually going to be updating one of the Karate Kids. So let's go ahead and get into that. I want you to do that on the big screen here. I don't know if you guys like seeing my mouse move around. Let me know that too. But we'll do a big a big one. I'm gonna make myself a little bigger here. Just add a little contrast, size contrast. All right. So today we're gonna work on one of our Karate Kids. Actually, here, hold on one sec. I guess I'll talk while I do this. We're gonna try multitask. So what I'm doing right now is I want to pull a sketch I did. So I'm jumping over to my Discord. I want to show everybody stuff. I'll probably give a heads up at some point. Nope, not that. Where are we going? Almost there, I think. Here we go. Oh, I didn't take a recent image of it. All right, so we're gonna jump back over here actually. So these are our class reps for the game. Oh, so small now. These are our class reps. This is for room 2A. This is for room 1A. And then these are the class reps for 3A. And these are who we're going to be focusing on today. These are the three kind of most important characters, so they really do need to kind of stand on their own. I made some design choices on how I want these characters to look, and we're going to try and match that in the game. So in fact, what we'll do is we will just arrange these a little bit differently here. If you head to my Discord, you can see some updated explorations of these characters. I should have those up and available for you to review if that's something you're into. We're gonna give this a little bit less space here. So I'm gonna start with the male character. In my mind, I keep calling him Kenneth. Kenneth Master is his name in my head. All right, where is he here? Let's see if we can find him. Set 3, Karate Kids. There he goes. So the way I typically do this is I will, you can't see my big heads in the way, but I have everything kind of separated by character and by class. And there are actually some older versions. Let's see if we can go through these. So first, I guess I started as Ryu, but Ken's my favorite, so I switched to that. And then we landed here after doing a little bit more exploration. So I like this pose for the most part. I think it's really good. I think it's readable. I think his white gloves help the form read against his body. But what we want to do, excuse that. I don't know if you can hear it. It's an alarm. What we want to do is just edit the head a little bit. So first, let's make sure we have the right colors here and the right modes. So I made 2 copies of the same thing here, so I can kind of preserve the old one in case I destroy this beyond belief. So we want to do a simplified version of this character here. And you guys want to see that in big mode? Or do you like it? Oh my gosh, where'd big mode go? Big mode, where are you? Oh, okay, this is big mode. Let's put big mode back. All right, we got big mode over there, and we'll have you. I think it's gonna do it again. See, this is the kind of stuff that you only learn by doing live. Yeah, so there's big mode again. We want 5 over here. We want big mode over here. All right. So you guys want big mode? I don't know. I think I'll do big mode. I'm actually gonna shrink myself down in case I want to use the footage later. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. I actually prefer it over here. So we'll do a little bit of that, a little bit of this. All right, let's get into it, guys. So first things first, we gotta. Well, do we have to really get rid of his head? I don't know. We do need to make his head a little bit bigger though, for sure. And I'm using my own art as reference here. How do you guys feel about the music? This music comes from Master Planned Music. And that comes from a YouTuber I've really been enjoying. It's called, what's his name? Here, and I just need to go back here and reference this again. All right, so we'll probably change that. That is a YouTuber called City Planner Plays. He plays a game called City Skylines. It's a whole plot and story, and I'm pretty invested into it, to be honest with you. Really enjoy it. So I think his chin can be down. I think that's fine. I think it's perfect if he looks like he's about to fight someone. And now what we can do is move his face a little bit. So let's do that. You want him to look confident. He's gonna win the fight. So these are, we don't need to do all this detail in the eyebrows. I think players, people picking up the game, will be able to make that leap if they see any original art. And here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So here he has these split eyebrows, and that's kind of reminiscent of Ken from the Alpha series, which is what this guy's based on. So we don't need to do all that much detail. I don't think all that's necessary. I'll be a little more lax with that piece. So I may need to actually move his head up a little bit, which is fine. We have the space to do that. Just 1 pixel should do it. We just don't want him to look like he's hunched over. Yeah, and this is the part that's kind of not great about pixel art, is so much just like guess and check work. You just put a pixel there, see if it works, remove it. Put a pixel, see if it works, remove it. Which can get a little old. I think we can give him these bangs in here. How does that look? Should we try and fit it over here as well? Should we make his head a little bit bigger? As it goes past his ear. And again, it doesn't need to be exact, so does he have? So let's see if we can get away with this. How's that look? And then we need to shade this hair a little bit. All right. I just want this to curve in a little bit more. Something feels a little off here. Let's try and give him bigger eyes again. Yeah, I think he can look happy. I think that's what this is kind of giving me. And then what we can do here is all right, let's pull out and see what this looks like all together. So let's look before and after. And maybe that'll give us some clues on if we need to make any more adjustments. So before, after. Okay, so I see some things I want to kind of change here already. I don't think we can use these blacks here, these black tones, but I think it's a little confusing with the eyebrow, especially. And I think thickening up those eyebrows helps. But I think what we want to do, or probably what we need to do, is this instead. And make this a little bit lighter in these areas. I think that's close. So let's go back here. I just want to show you guys something. Still what's super important. So while the internal stuff, like the eyebrows, don't need to be 100% on, I think this shape needs to be consistent, more consistent. So how we're gonna resolve that is we're gonna push this out just a hair. It's kind of like a stair step. It goes like this, and right now it's more like this. So let's change that, because you may want to use this Pikachu tail later for a different character, and we don't want those to get confused somehow. So let's jump in here. We're gonna move this just a little bit, not that much. Let's see if that works. And then it starts in the middle of his head, so let's adjust that. Does that solve our problems, or does that make more problems? Is the question. I think this part is a little messy. I'm looking back and forth between the two. What do you guys think? Did I push a little bit too far? Let's see if we can go back. See how far back we can go. Yeah, that's as far back as I can go. But I think what I did is move this over like 1 or 2 pixels. That's one more thing I'm interested in trying out. see. We're gonna try and move his face down. This is the pixel art stuff that's kind of boring, but it has to be done. So I don't know. I like his mouth up. I like his mouth up, I think. And I think he's supposed to have a more square head though. So can we pull that off? Maybe that's it. But now I feel like the square should be a little bit bigger. Can I pull this off? And then just actually one more thing I think I want to change is this here. Just want to make this a little more simple and pull it away from his fist. Throw that there. All right, I guess we'll call it there, guys. So yeah, let me know what you think. We're gonna go through some more characters here in the near future. So let me know what you think about what kind of watching the process. Yeah, maybe we'll do more. Well, not maybe. We'll definitely do more of these in the future. But yeah, let's just go through again. Kind of before, after, before, after. So he just looks much more alive, and then he looks more in line with some of the other characters as well. Give him a little more height, make him look a little more kid-like with a bigger head. Yeah, I think this is it. And I just want to go through and make sure we got him all set here. And there's no transparency issues. But yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. Yeah, it's been fun rocking with you. Fun listening to these dope master plan music tunes. As always, guys, truly appreciate you watching these. God bless, be safe, and I will see you next time.